Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Exponential Wealth. I'm your host, Aaron Moore. Today we have a very special guest, Vanessa Treadwell of The Key, formerly Home Care Assistants. Vanessa, how you doing?
Good, Aaron. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks so much. Vanessa, I know you've worked for The Key almost 5 years, advocating for families and their relatives to help your clients age in place and home and what that means to them. I think that our listeners today have a lot that they're going to get from our conversation and a lot to think about. So I'm really looking forward to jumping in here. I want to start with the statistics that Fidelity Investments actually put out. They put an annual report. In 2021, last year, the average expenses for healthcare in retirement for a 65-year-old couple is $300,000. And that's an incredible figure. I knew I had to have you on the line because my clients are concerned about this, and I'm sure listeners are concerned about this. What have you seen in terms of, and here I go, I just messed up. Okay. So I'll just gonna restart and then start in our first question, and then we'll cut this.
Okay, because the beginning was good.
Yeah, because the beginning was good. Exactly. Vanessa, I wanted to launch in. Let's just launch in on our first question here. Why is it so important that young people start planning for their healthcare and for their aging in place now?
I think it's so important, to think now when we have the power of independence, right? When looking at our lives and what we envision our future to look like, why not have control of that and feel like you have the control of your life, both presently and in the future. And the sooner you can meet with that financial advisor who can help plan that out and help you get to where you want to be, then the more success you'll have in having that independence later on. Start now when you can have control of what you want your life to look like, because too often we see where that's not the case, and it's not great, right? So the more that you can take control now and put things in place and feel empowered that you know that you're investing in your success in your life, so important.
Right. And to get back to that number, that $300,000 number, that's just one of many things that our clients are looking to fund, right? I mean, right. That's from now until then seems like a long time. By the way, healthcare costs are going up higher than inflation, and we know what inflation is doing today. Yeah. So you talked about the importance of having a plan for young people, going through this financial process of understanding what it's going to cost and what you need to do to fund for it. What else do young people need to start thinking about now in terms of what their lifestyle is going to be like in retirement or whatever that name is for you? Some people
like thinking retirement is wild. I don't think prior to working with The Key, I never really thought about the importance of planning. When I started with The Key, I then met with a financial advisor. I was like, wow, I need to put some things in place and lean on a professional who knows what they're doing and can support me with that. So, a few things, right? Not being afraid to have that conversation and start that process is so important, but then also looking at your overall lifestyle. Like, what are we doing for ourselves, again, currently, so that when we live throughout our life, we continue to be healthy, we continue to live a purposeful life and stay independent. The more that we can eat healthy, have an active life, have a social circle, that is so important, right? What is your purpose? What fills your cup? And how are you selfishly taking care of yourself so that when you get closer to retirement or you get post-retirement, you still have that independence and you feel strong and you know that you've lived a healthy life. So sitting down and thinking what's important to you and what that healthy lifestyle looks like, it's so empowering. Like, why not start now so you have full control of that?
I love that, Vanessa.
Yeah.
That kind of leads in right into the next question that I did want to ask of you, because we talked about what it means to ensuring your life is fulfilled and you're, living with grace and dignity and doing these things. What is like, what else can we be doing now? Right. You said, okay, having a plan in place to make sure financially you're set up, that you're going to be doing these daily activities. You mentioned exercise, a social circle, right? What else do we need to be thinking about of why and what we can be doing now?
I mean, besides that healthy lifestyle, I think just coming to the realization of knowing that, we are adults, we have to sit down and start planning and asking those questions, leaning on those professionals of saying, what should I be thinking of? Here's what I want to do in the next 10 years, the next 20 years. Here's what I see my parents or my grandparents doing that I either strive to be like, or I see how much struggle it is for them. And that scares me, right? Or maybe that empowers me to make a change for myself. And I just think we owe it to ourselves to invest in our life and our overall well-being. Right. So, planning, absolutely important, but also having that purposeful life. I keep going to purposeful life, but it's so important. It is so important. I see so often our clients who are anywhere from 65 and up are, in this bubble of feeling like they don't have a why anymore and they don't know what to do. And that's hard. So the more we can think about it now and keep that purpose in our life, so important. Have fun, but have a plan.
So let's talk about the plan a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
There are ways so Vanessa, we're jumping in. I think we're assuming our listeners know what the key does and what you do.
Yeah.
Just real quick, just a couple sentences, what it is that you're doing. Cause I think that let's paint a picture of the service that you provide. And then I think that our listeners, it's either going to be, hey, how can I use this in my life? Or if you're in a similar situation, to me or some of my clients where you're taking care of a mom or a dad or a grandparent, talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's enough education around this. So in a, long story short, the key, we provide a service where our caregivers come into the home and they help keep our clients living that independent, fulfilled life. How can we fit into their life, right? Not coming in to change it, but come in to support their life so that they can stay independent, they can stay at home and still mark off those bucket list items that they want to do, right? So that's really why we're here. Me personally, I'm going out and I'm meeting families, loved ones, clients themselves, and just sharing what those resources are. What's your short-term goal? What's your long-term goal? What's your struggle? Well, here's how we can help you. Here's how we can help you stay at home. Right. So that's a little bit about kind of what we do, but it truly is our caregivers that are coming in and supporting with that. So right. Whether you're, sitting down and planning for that or just thinking of that, it never hurts to start, just asking and having those conversations. Or a lot of times it's older adults who just need us right now and we're coming in and we're seeing how we can, make a change or support them with their life.
That's right. I see it all the time, the need for, care services, right? To be in the home. I think everyone listening, either you're going through that right now, or it's something that you have gone through where, a lot of the times, a lot of the conversation that we have with clients is, hey, here are my responsibilities. Like if you have children, if you're the sandwich generation where you're taking care of your children and your parents, well, how do you make sure that you can still, as an adult child of your aging parent, continue your career and have the time and fulfillment that you need in your life and be able to take care of the aging parent? I don't know how many times people have had to change their career, right? Step away from work, change their lifestyle by moving a parent or relative into the home, which here in the Bay Area happens a lot for financial reasons. But these are all the things that people need to be thinking about in terms of, what's your quality of life going to be when you do need help in the home? And so it's great to know that your service is out there.
Yeah.
Vanessa, what do, as far as covering the cost of home care, right? In your service, I know we talked about Medicare, right? We talked about long-term care being an option, and then out of pocket. You want to just run through those three for us?
Yeah, extremely important, especially when planning. And, Medicare is amazing, right? It is extremely important for older adults. And it's what we typically see is where they are covering the medical side. So there's the home care side that is custodial, non-medical. And then there's the medical side, which is, doctor visits, appointments, surgeries, physical therapy. Again, the medical side. Medicare is covering that. So if you have Medicare, you have great insurance, you're set, right? You're taken care of.
And Vanessa, just quick commercial break on Medicare kicks in when you're 65. Is that the age today?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes.
You've been paying for it out of payroll taxes. If you've been a W-2 employee, you've been paying for it. Or if you're 1099 independent contractor, you've been paying your taxes, you've been paying into that. Right. So you get some medical benefit. That's what Medicare is that we all entitled to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect. Perfectly said. And then you go into the private pay, which is typically the custodial side, right? The non-medical caregiving side. If you invest in long-term care insurance, then it is a supplemental support for private pay.
Which would pay for your service, which would pay for an in-home care service.
Yes. And it's a little broad, right? Depending on the policy that you're investing in and what you're getting out of it, it could cover in-home one-on-one care, or it can cover part of assisted living. So it truly depends on what you're putting into it and the type of policy you have. But long-term care is the only supplement that does support with private pay. If you don't have that, then it is private pay out of pocket.
Okay, good. And if you have any questions about this stuff, I really encourage our listeners. This is why we do the show. Really encourage our listeners to reach out to me and reach out to Vanessa to have a conversation about this and to learn more. We're talking in really generic terms today, right? Because we're not dealing with a specific situation. Actually, do you have a story to share about a great, where you've come into the home and you've really, impacted the quality of life for a client?
Yeah. I mean, oh gosh, you really put me on the spot. I have so many, but a few points on that, actually. As others with the key, we, absolutely love to do these joint meetings. And so often am I going into clients' homes and meeting with fiduciaries or wealth advisors where they've had a history with this family. They've supported them. They supported their loved ones, their grandkids. It's the family tree, right? So they truly know the family in their life. And we come in and we sit down together and we're working as a team. I'm answering questions. I see what their plan is and what they want. And then I help implement, or I help support and provide resources for how that can happen. So, oftentimes, that's where we see the most success, because the clients not only feel that they are supported, we're all on the same page, but also we leave the meetings and I've had fiduciaries say, wow, I've known them for 20 years and I've never heard them say that, or I never knew that. Right. And it's just because it's a different outlook. But anyways, I think a year ago, maybe, or it was pre-pandemic. This one always stands out to me. I met with a family. There was 5 or 6 adult children. So it was a big family, and their dad, longtime entrepreneur, very well known in the area, was diagnosed recently at the time with early onset dementia. So kind of in that gray area, right? Still physically fiercely independent and cognitively still feels that he is, right? So he kind of senses something going on, but he still knows and feels he can drive down to his office every day. Meanwhile, the adult children are terrified, and it's taking a toll on their life, right? Their mental life. They're having to stop their things to go check on him because they're not sure if he's going to get lost while driving or harm himself or someone else. So their lives are at jeopardy as well, having to pause everything, stressed out. So I come in, we have a family meeting. Dad wasn't present at the time. And I say, tell me his life. Teach me about his life. What is his everyday routine? He thinks that he still works. Great. We're not providing a caregiver. We're providing a personal assistant. She's going to show up every day and drive him to his office and help him with tasks around the office. So it's so much about learning the client's lifestyle and meeting them where they're at in their journey, and the adult children. So now they have peace of mind. They can continue with their lives, and Dad's still going to the office, but he's safe and he's still living a fulfilled life.
And he's got a new personal assistant to help him.
Personal assistant. Who would want that, right? And
great.
We see resistance a lot with older clients, especially diagnosed with dementia. And it's just a matter of changing the verbiage, fitting into their lifestyle. And he loved it.
That's right.
So I just get so excited talking about that, because there's so much potential. And it fills my cup knowing that we can help in that way. So that was just a little story that I love.
That's awesome, Vanessa. That's great. That leads me to my last question that we have today, because I know we're short on time here. So the question is, how do older adults measure happiness? And I think to add on to that, is also, how do you measure success? Right. So how do you measure that you're successful? You just shared a great success story where this entrepreneur continued to work and, have this thing going. How are older adults measuring happiness and success?
I love that question, Aaron. And so much of it, at least from our experience and what we've seen, read on, done research, is truly being able to remain independent, number one, and living well in the place that they call home, wherever that may be. But most importantly is owning the way they age. I mean, that is the key to success. If we come in and we validate them, that they feel that they're still in control, and we're not talking around them, but specifically to them of, what do you want, right? What measures happiness for you? You want to stay independent? Great. Here's how we're going to do it together. So, and when they acknowledge that and they see that we're on the same page, it's like bricks off the shoulder. It's like they can breathe and they still feel like they're independent and in control. So let's start today in owning the way we age. I mean, there's so much potential in that.
That's awesome. Vanessa, I love that. It feels like a call to action, right? Call to action today. Figure out what your plan is. If you are in your 30s or 40s and saying to yourself, 65 is a very long way away, it certainly is. But at the same time, the trajectory that you start, the planning process that you start today, the conversations that you have today will make that process later more successful. I love that. I love what you said, Vanessa. I want to own the way.
Own it. And if you don't know and you don't know where to start, that's where there's professionals like you, or call up the phone and ask a question. I mean, that's why we're here, and we shouldn't know everything, right? But just start somewhere.
Good. I love that. I love what you just said. Certainly I'm there as a resource, and I want folks to reach out to me, existing clients, if you have questions about this, prospective clients, if you want to schedule a complimentary consultation. Vanessa, best way to get a hold of you if they have more questions about the key or about aging in place and about putting a plan together?
Yeah. I mean, I'm everywhere. Phone is always on me. So, my cell phone, if you want me to say it out loud right now.
Somebody might have their pen and paper and write it down.
Get the pen ready. It's 650-885-5735. If not that, I'm all over LinkedIn. I know everyone seems to be on LinkedIn. So shoot me a message, a phone call, anytime.
That's awesome. Vanessa, it's been such a pleasure speaking with you today. Thank you so much for being our guest.
Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate your time.
Our guest today, Vanessa Treadwell, has been a guest of our show and is not affiliated with LPL Financial nor Sagecrest Financial, and neither is her firm, The Key. Our guest on today's show and the strategies that we discussed are to be implemented using a professional service or advisor, and not to be implemented on your own. The information is not intended for specific advice, but more general advice that you could take advantage of as you're looking to take care of the loved ones in your life. Thank you so much. See you next time, everyone.